Okay, so the last part is, what specifically would you do for your lower performing students then? Is there anything specific plan of action you have?
For them, what I usually try to do is to pull them aside, whether it's at lunch or after school, or if they're working on a group project, which they have done a couple times after tests. And I tend to verbally ask them the questions.
Oh, okay.
And walk them through, okay, what do you remember? What is this? What's going on? And a lot of times, even just asking them verbally, they do better. I don't know if it's like the testing mode of it or
It's the stress levels different.
yeah, the pressure of it. They react a little bit differently. And so I have my couple, non-negotiators that don't do anything. But like the one who has a 9 out of 20, he came in and we were talking and he did much better just in the verbal conversation than he did taking the tests. So
Okay.
that's usually how I handle at least these tests, because I tend not to do test retakes. For me, it's just them remembering answers rather than actually learning the concepts again.
Because you reframe it basically in a different context.
Yeah.
way,
I
so
take
you
it and
get
I
a
look at the
chance.
question and it says, okay, this talks about in Act 4, Scene 3, with the plans changing. So I say, okay, well, what was the original plan? And they walk me through the steps of the original plan. And then, okay, now what's happened to change the plan? And they can do that. And that answers 6
So it
questions
okay.
on their multiple choice. But asking it that way, they tell me all the details that they missed when they're answering the questions. And so having that conversation piece helps out a little bit, because I can also kind of help direct them in the right direction. Not necessarily be like, you're going in the wrong path, this is the wrong answer. But telling them, okay, you're looking at it this way. We need to twist it a little bit and say, okay, well, I see how you got that idea, but in reality, they talked about this. How does this affect that? And then they kind of jump that bridge and put the pieces together, and that helps a lot.
Okay, that's good, because that's, at least you're giving them another opportunity to go ahead and do it, and you're doing it a different way, instead of just saying, here's another test, take it again.
Well, and it also helps me too to know, because that was Act 4, there's Act 5, and so with them understanding what's going on in Act 4, I don't have to go back over it again, over and over and over, for them to understand how the play's ending and what's going on in Act 5.
Okay, perfect. That helps me. That answers that question fairly well. At least you're giving them another chance for those who didn't succeed to give them another way to increase their grade a little bit.
Yeah.
And you presented the information a different way.
Absolutely.
Okay, and the last part is developing as a professional educator.
Okay.
And I put Ms. Mastrady engages in reflection on instructional strategies by attending PLC meetings and KISA meetings.
Mm-hmm.
These meetings allow her to make necessary adjustments to her teaching practice to meet the needs of all learners, which it sounds like based on that, you're doing that, so that's big. Is there anything on that I missed for your professional learning?
I've taken, in the last year, I've finished up my CTEL coursework. So I am CTEL certified, or however that works out. And so that helped a lot with looking at the different levels of learning and how to reevaluate and look at those, and develop me kind of a little bit more in the sense of not everybody's the same. How do you reach those kids that aren't the same? There's nothing really that I've learned so far that help the kids that don't want to do it, don't want to be there. But just having those different strategies, and so that's how I learned to ask them the questions rather than give them a test.
Okay.
And working on those sorts of different ideas of how to get them involved has helped a lot.
Okay, good. That's basically all I have for you. Is there anything you would like to ask? Anything you'd like to add that maybe we didn't cover?
No, I think we covered everything as much as we can. And after you left, it was just giving them the assessment, and then from the assessment, we moved straight into the next act. And then once we finished that, we kind of did a whole group recap of everything that had happened in the play and kind of how that all turned out. But after that, they all did fairly well. They were all very bummed that everybody died.
Okay, perfect. So on this, I put down a meets for everything.
Awesome.
Okay, so all I need is for you to sign on the bottom. I'm sorry.
Oh,
with the lights.
one of those. That's me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Of course.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
And have a nice Merry Christmas.
Yes. I'm excited.
Yeah. So am I. Okay.